Slowly but surely, the Romans and their successors replaced Saturn with YAHAWASHI, but they like the word Jesus. Ugh. A week of debauchery with a day of prayers and booze with eggnog until we arrive at the mark and the celebration of Christmas as we know it today. All right. So let me go back. That's what I want to bring up. So notice, like, we talk about Saturn, right? Saturn would be, how should I put it? Jupiter. All right. Jupiter is the chief god. Jupiter is synonymous with Zeus. And Zeus goes back to being the father of Bacchus. Okay? And all this goes right back to our people worshiping the idols of the heathens. Remember, that's why I had to go back into the history where it said 325. Constantine pretty much named it Christmas, but it all dates back to us being under the rulership of the Greco-Roman Empire, and a lot of our people carried it on to this day. Like a lot of our people during the 700 AD, when they had the conquest of the Muslims, a lot of our people today who really are hardcore Muslims are the same spirits from back then with that wanted to be Muslim. You understand what I'm saying, right? Like a lot of our people that go to these sororities and they get branded, like that's a slave mentality. You know, do you want to be branded? Anyhow, but I digress. What you're seeing is the blue letter for Amos 5 and 26. The word Chiun, an image or pillar, right? Strong's H3594. Probably a statue of the Assyrian Babylonian god of the planet Saturn, and used to symbolize Israelite apostasy. I'm going to get back to Bacchus in a minute. And this is what they refer to as Chiun. The hexagram of six-pointed star is the symbol of the ancient Rempha, also known as Chiun, who was also known as Moloch, which is another representation of Nimrod, husband of Semiramis, queen of Babylon. See how all this goes back into fruition full circle? This symbol is not Jewish. The Rothschilds, who are papal knights of Malta, put it on the flag of Israel despite heavy opposition from the Jewish people. But that's another story because they claim to be Jewish as well. So it's kind of like a oxymoron. Anyhow, so look at this. You see that, right? Let's go back. Amos 5 and 26. But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch, and Chiun your images, the star of your God, which ye made to yourselves. So all this going back to Christmas, Saturnalia, man, and Chiun, all right? And the worshiping of Jupiter. Understand. Now, Acts 19, verse 26 and verse 34 through 35. Moreover, you see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost through all Asia. Notice when I read that, hold on, let me go back real quick. Notice right here, right? It spoke of the hexagram or six-pointed star is the symbol of the ancient Rempha, also known as Chiun, was also known as Molech. Molech is actually a deity of the Moabites, who today would be known as the Chinese people, right? And Ammon, who's the youngest of Moab and Ammon, who will be the sons of Lot, Ammon will be the so-called Japanese today in North Korea and South Korea, right? So notice when you read in Acts the 19th chapter, it refers to Asia. They're deities. Anyhow, let's get back to it. Moreover, you see, this is Acts 19:26 and verse 34 through 35. Moreover, you see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul had persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods which are made with hands. So that's talking about the idols, all right? the statutes and whatnot. Verse 34, but when they heard that he was a Jew, all with one voice about the space of 2 hours cried out, great is Diana of the Ephesians. You have to read the book of Acts to understand why Paul wrote letters to the Ephesians, to the Galatians, to the Corinthians, because those were Israelites that was living in Ephesus, that were living in Galatia, that was living in Corinth. Also the letter to Rome, all who are beloved of God, who are in Rome, though were the Israelites. Yeah. Verse 35, and when the town clerk had appeased the people, he said, ye men of Ephesus, what man is there that knoweth not how that the city of the Ephesians, the Israelites in Ephesus, is a worshiper or worshippers of the great goddess Diana and of the image which fell down from Jupiter. Yeah? Now check this out. I'm going to close out after this. 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1 through 7. But before I proceed, I want to bring this out really quick. Birth of Bacchus. Even though Bacchus himself was a god, his mother was not a goddess. Bacchus or Dionysus was the son of Zeus or Jupiter in the Roman tradition, and a Theban princess called Semele, daughter of King Cadmus of Thebes. This means that Bacchus was the only one of the gods who had a mortal mother. So this is all mythology and whatever, but getting to the point, let's go back to how you must know the history in order to know the mystery. How it came into fruition with Saturnalia and Christmas, because Bacchus really goes back to the god of vegetation and wine. And wine is for what? To make man merry, and also for celebration, and also for festives. Oh, so let me read this and close out. 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 1 through 7. Not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of God, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius. Antiochus Epiphanes IV did a great slaughter to our people during between 160 BC, 150, 140th BC. So this was over 100-something years prior to YAHAWASHI coming to the earth, being born. So our people was heavily Hellenized during this time, like how we became Americanized. Your name is no longer Kunta, your name is Toby. We were heavily Hellenized back then. That's why wearing hats is also symbolic to us being Hellenized back then. All right. Anyways, verse 2, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Gerizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots, and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that brought the things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. You see how these devils work, man? Verse 7, and the day of the king's birth, every month they brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the fast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. So Christmas is pagan and Saturn worshiping, and that's what our people are going to be partaking in the next couple of weeks or whatever you want to call it. All this week, probably like 5 people said Merry Christmas to me. I'm sorry, all this month, I meant to say, all this month. The spirit of America is being zapped. The Lord is just taking all the spirit, the enlightenment, the happiness, the joy. It's just being zapped out of this wicked place, because the Lord is getting ready to put it in the dirt, and the Lord's getting ready to bring forth His kingdom. And I'm tired of all this paganism. I'm ready to go home. So with that being said, I pray you was edified and fed. Stay in the spirit. Don't fear it. Just endure it. Ask for forgiveness. Pray without ceasing. Stay humble. Remain diligent. Mashallah. Shalom.